Welcome back to the Vitera blogs. This is part 6 of a series covering my team's progression in the new server Vitera. This video covers from level 297 to 365, which took us about 30 days of playing. On the previous video, we finished with hunting on Nagas, and here we are starting on a new spawn. This time we decided to go for Summer Court, a rather uncommon spawn for this level range, but the lap I had in mind allows for big pulls and not running to overkill. So on the first day we were doing around the 3.3kk raw and got to level 298. Then later I got my level 299 while checking for the Nemesis boss Grom, and given how little XP these deep links give, it ends up being a funny screenshot. Anyhow, after resuming our hunt the next day on Summer Court, our experience got better to around the 3.5kk raw, which is still less than what we were doing at Nagas, but not by much, and considering it's a different hunt and we get to work on bestiary, it was fine with us. For the most part, I was getting around 2 levels a day hunting here, and in 4 days we were done with the crazy summer bestiary. It would have taken longer to finish the Incense Sirens, so we skipped those, finishing at level 306 from our hunts in the Summer Court. Then once again getting an odd level screenshot, this time while doing an ink service. For our next team hunt, we had a new home. This time we chose to go to the Oramon Catacombs with the Wrath rotation active. This at one point used to be the best spawn in the game, but it's been a long time since then. However, it remains good if you hunt it properly, which honestly is a bit hard for newer players, and I blame it on the easy spawns like Bloody Cathedral and Spectres in general, but that's a topic for another day. Our hunts in Catacombs went pretty well, getting to over 3.8kk raw while making good profit and doing a bunch of new bestiary. For the first day, I only got 1 level since I didn't have green stamina, and then after that the weekend came along, and if you've seen the other videos of the series, my MS and Paladin don't play on the weekends, so I tried to do a hunt with a druid and chose to go Deathlinks, but that was a mistake. I lasted 20 minutes and died to pretty much a combo. Then later that day, I joined 3 randoms and their spawn suggestion was the Isabi Sphinx, a mix of the Catacombs and Surface, which I was curious if it was a good spot, but that also didn't end well, once again dying to a big combo. Then on Sunday, the Paladin wanted to hunt, so we 3-manned Deathlinks since we all still needed to finish the bestiary of Spell Singers. That day, I finally got some progression and got up to level 310 and finishing the Spell Singers. Then on Monday, with the full team, we resumed our Catacombs hunts. With green stam and 1 boost, I was getting around 3 levels a day on 2-hour hunts. And after 3 days, and going from 310 to 320, we were done with the main bestiary and ready to move, having our peak experience get up to over 4kk raw. And our next spawn in line was one I was dreading to come, the Cobra Bastion. It's because this is one of those spawns that kinda ruined the fun. Not only it is highly popular, which means it is very contested, but it is also better than anything else in the level range. So once you start hunting here, everything else seems and feels much worse. But even though I delayed it is not like we were going to avoid the spawn just because of that. So we gave in and started hunting cobras, and on our first hunt we got up to 4.3kk raw, but on average it was 4.1. I did end up dying that first day due to a mistake from the druid, but other than that the hunt was pretty fine. On the second day we were already getting to 4.6kk raw, which is just crazy to think of, but then I died again, just showing that especially with the Vizier pulls things can go wrong quick. I got my level 325 back and we stopped that day. The next up was a weekend, so our sorcerer was gone. We started by working on the Feaster of Soul quest with some friends, and once again I ended up dying at the same level for the 3rd time. Very unfortunate, but it happens. Then later on we got a random MS to go hunt, but the Bastion was taken, so instead we headed to the Cobra basement, which is a positive thing about cobras. Even when they are taken, there is the alternative of going basement, which is a smaller spawn and more difficult to hunt, so most people tend to ignore it, but for us it was alright, except the curse of my level 325 was too strong and I almost died again, so we ended up cutting the hunt short instead. The next day we did get to hunt the Bastion, and finally I finished a day without dying, so finally progressed a bit, ending at almost level 329, which I got by myself later in a solo hunt. Then with our MS back on Monday, we resumed our Cobra hunts, and once again the experience went up to over 4.8kk, getting 2 levels and ended at 331 that day. For the next day we had to hunt basement instead, but with our full team this time it went better. Experience was around the 4 to 4.4kk raw, which is still good, and there you get to kill more Viziers so that bestiary goes faster, and I went from 331 to 335 in 2 hours with a double boost. I also had upgraded my weapon, from Destruction to Phantasmal Axe, and that was making a big difference. We got to use it on the Bastion the next day, and now we were breaking over the 5kk raw as low level 300s, which is just crazy to think of honestly. We also had finished the Cobra Assassin bestiary by now, so we were using one charm, and we continued to do the same for the next days. It wasn't until 341 that I died again, since by now we were untrapping the Cobra Viziers from the table pool, and that was definitely dangerous. Then after that, double experience started, and Cobra Bastion started to get overcrowded, so our hunts were mainly on basement, because even during double, people were avoiding that spawn. But for us, with charms now, we were doing 4.5kk raw, which is about 10% worse than Bastion. However, the lack of competition for the spawn makes it superior in my opinion. For this double we hunted 3 hours a day, and on the first one I went from 341 to 349, then second day from 349 to 356 with my team, and then a double hunt later that night with some friends in Catacombs, and that got me 2 extra levels, and for the third day again with my team on basement went from 358 to 365, ending the double experience with 24 levels gained. Then after the double we started doing some quests, and one of them was the Cradle of Monsters, to unlock access to Monster and also Ingle. However, on our first attempt at the boss, I got headshot straight away. I misplayed that by forgetting I could use items during route, otherwise I would have used a Sacred Tree Amulet and perhaps survive. But mistakes happen. Now, following the tradition of previous episodes, since we're about to move spawns, I will be stopping this part of the series here. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to the supporters of the channel, Tuna Hero, Night Star, and Torta Slasher. Don't forget to subscribe to get the follow-up to the series, and I hope to see you next time.